I'm sorry, lady. I'm very sorry. Look at you. Face dirty. I've got mine to wash your face for you. You ain't got nobody at home to tell you to wash your face? Not every child has someone looking out for them at home. When a child is left to raise himself, it's hard to distinguish between which choices are right and which choices are wrong. Roger, who has made all the wrong choices, gets an earful from Miss Luella Bates Washington Jones when he fails to rob her of her purse. He also gets a lesson in empathy and respect. As author Wayne Dyer once said, "See the good in others as though that is all you see." Just as Roger, this is a lesson we could all use in today's society. Thank You, Ma'am, by Langston Hughes. She was a large woman with a large purse that had everything in it but a hammer and nails. It had a long strap that she kept slung across her shoulder. It was about 11 o'clock at night, and she was walking alone when a boy ran up behind her and tried to snatch her pocketbook, but the strap broke with a single tug that the boy had gave it from behind. The boy's weight and the weight of the purse combined caused him to lose his balance. So instead of taking off full blast down the street as he had hoped, he fell back on the sidewalk. His legs flew up in the air. The large woman simply turned around and kicked him right in his blue jean sitter. Then she reached down and picked him up by the front of his shirt and shook him until his teeth rattled. Then she said, "Pick up my pocketbook, boy. Give it here." She still held him, but she bent down enough to permit him to stoop and pick up her purse. Then she said, "Now ain't you ashamed of yourself?" Firmly gripped by the front of his shirt. "Yes'm." "Then what'd you do it for?" "I didn't aim to." "Oh, you's a lie." By that time, 2 or 3 people stopped, turned to look, and some stood watching. "If I turn you loose, you gonna run?" "Yes'm." "Then I won't turn you loose." She did not release him. "I'm sorry, lady. I'm very sorry." Look at you. Face dirty. I've got mine to wash your face for you. You ain't got nobody at home to tell you to wash your face? No. Then it'll get washed this here evening. The large woman starting up the street, dragging the frightened boy behind her. He looked 14, no, maybe 15, frail and willow wild in tennis shoes. The woman said, "You ought to be my son. I would teach you right from wrong. Least I can do is take you home and wash your face and... Are you hungry?" "No. I just want you to let me loose." "Was I bothering you when I turned that corner?" "No. But you put yourself into contact with me, and if you don't think that contact's going to last a little while, you've got another thing coming. When I get done with you, sir, you're going to remember Miss Luella Bates Washington Jones." Sweat popped from the boy's face. He began to struggle. Mrs. Jones stopped, jerked him around in front of her, and put him in a half Nelson about his neck. She continued to drag the frightened boy down the street. When she got to her door, she dragged him down a long hallway into a large kitchenette furnished room in the rear of her house. She flipped the lights on, left the door open, and he could hear other roomers talking and laughing in the background, so he knew that he and the woman were not alone. She still had him by the neck in the middle of the room. "What's your name?" "Roger." "Well then, Roger, you go to that sink now and you wash your face." Whereupon she released him. At last, he was free. He looked at the door, looked at the woman, looked back at the door, and back at the woman. And he went to the sink. "You let that water run warm now, and here's a clean towel. You gonna take me to jail?" "Not with that face. I wouldn't take you nowhere. Here I am trying to get home to cook me about to eat. You try to snatch my pocketbook. You ain't been home to eat your supper either, as late as it is, have you?" "There ain't nobody at home to cook for me." "Oh, then you'll eat here." "I just wanted me a pair of blue suede shoes." "You didn't have to try to snatch my pocketbook to get you some blue suede shoes. You could have just asked me." Water dripping from the boy's face, he looked at her. There was a long pause. A very long pause. After that, He dried his face, but not knowing what to do next, he dried it again. The door was open. There was his chance. He could run. 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 But he didn't. The woman was sitting on the daybed, and after that she said, "I were young once, and I wanted things to which I couldn't have." There was another long pause. After that, the boy's mouth opened. Then he frowned. But not knowing that he frowned, the woman said, You thought I was going to say but, didn't you? You thought I was going to say but I didn't try to snatch other people's pocketbooks. Well, I wasn't going to say that. I've done things to which I wouldn't tell you, son, neither tell God himself if he didn't already know. Now, you go in there and you sit down and I'll cook us a bite to eat, and you might want to run a comb through your hair, look a little presentable. In the other corner of the room, there was a screen, and behind that screen was a gas plate and an icebox. Mrs. Jones got up, went behind the screen, but she didn't watch the boy to see if he was going to run now. Nor did she watch her pocketbook, which she left behind her on the daybed. But the boy took care to sit on the far side of the room, where the woman could easily see him out of the corner of her eye if she wanted to. He did not trust the woman not to trust him, but he didn't want to be mistrusted now. Do you need somebody to go to the store and get some milk or something? No, I don't believe I do, unless you want you some sweet milk yourself. She heated up some lima beans and ham that she had in her icebox. She made him some hot cocoa and set it on the table. As they began to eat, she told him about a job in a hotel beauty shop and how late it stayed open, and all the kinds of women that would come in and out, the blondes, the redheads, the Spanish. And then she cut him a slice of her 10-cent cake. Now here, eat this and enjoy. When they were done eating, she got up and said, "Here, take this $10 and you go get yourself some blue suede shoes, and next time, don't make the mistake of latching on to my pocketbook nor anyone else's. Shoes that come by devilish like are sure to burn your feet. Now, I've got to get my rest now, but I wish you behave yourself, son, from here on out. You promise?" She led him down the hallway, back to the front door. She opened it, said, "Good night, behave yourself." Looking out onto the street, she wanted to say something other than, "Thank you, ma'am," but he couldn't do so. As he turned the Baron stoop, he looked back at the woman standing in the doorway, and he barely managed to say, "Thank you," before the door had shut, and he had never seen her again.